These are my most anticipated artists of 2025. Last year was a great year for music, so I'm super excited to see what comes out this year. I actually have quite a lot of artists that I'm anticipating an album from. I'm gonna try not to make this video too long just because I do have over like 20 artists that I put on this list, so I'm gonna try to go list them off pretty quick. Most of these artists haven't really announced an album this year, but I feel like they need to drop just because I feel like the majority of these artists aren't really that huge of a name to really go another year without dropping. I'm sure if I was an artist, I would probably want to be consistent and probably drop an album every other year. And if I could, every year. But I feel like every other year, I think it's the perfect amount of wait time for an album. Without further ado, let's get started. The first one I want to talk about is an artist that has announced his album and honestly started their album rollout since last year, 2024. They also dropped some singles, and that is The Weeknd with his album Hurry Up Tomorrow. He has announced the album. Some are saying he's going to drop it this month. I'm not sure if that's the case. If he does drop it, great. We are going to start off the year right with The Weeknd. This might not be a popular opinion, but I really haven't been a fan of his latest singles. I think The Weeknd could definitely do better, so I'm hoping that this album doesn't disappoint. If it's like Dawn FM and After Hours mixed together, I think this album is going to be good. But we'll see. I definitely high expectations for this album, especially since this is the final album of his trilogy. So we will see how the album goes. Mac Miller with his album Balloonerism. Yeah, I wasn't expecting an album from Mac Miller, but I'm excited to see how it sounds. Apparently, this is an album that he has worked on, so it's not like the label and his family trying to fuck him over like with other artists that have passed away. I like how his team is going about with his music. They're also trying to keep the fans happy, but at the same time trying to keep Mac Miller's legacy intact. So I fuck with that and definitely excited for this Mac Miller album. Kanye West and his solo project. I know Vultures 1 and 2 wasn't all that, but I'm still excited to see what Kanye has for us as his solo album. His last solo album was Donda, and that one was good in my opinion. Definitely bloated, but it was still solid. Whether it be boldly or if he scratches that album title and names it something different, I'm definitely excited to see what he has in store. I have high hopes for this solo project. Kendrick Lamar, how can I not talk about Kendrick Lamar in 2025? Like, he had a great year last year. I'm expecting this year to even be better than last year. I know he just dropped his album GNX. Some are saying that is just like a fun throwaway album that he wanted to release, and then he's gonna drop his album that he has been working on since Mr. Morale. I think that theory makes sense, especially with the Super Bowl and everything, his tour. I'm thinking he's going to drop another album as well. Excited to see what he has to say. J. Cole with The Fall Off. Even though I wasn't a huge fan of My Delete Later, I am still excited for The Fall Off. I'm expecting this one to be one of his best works since he's been working on it since forever now. And so I'm expecting this one to be one of his best albums, especially since apparently this is going to be his last album. So hopefully this is the year that The Fall Off comes out. A$AP Rocky with his album that he was supposed to release last year ended up pushing it back because of some leaks, I think. But not only that, I think he's also in some legal issues right now, so he could be facing prison time. I'm not sure if that's the case, if that's why he pushed it back. There was some vinyl pre-orders and stuff that ended up getting canceled. I'm not sure if that album is scratched now. We'll see what happens. I was actually excited for him to drop his album. I was a huge fan of the singles that he dropped. Hopefully this is the year A$AP Rocky drops. Travis Scott. I know Travis has been working on a new album when he was on tour and stuff, so I'm expecting for him to drop an album this year. I don't think he should go another couple of years before dropping another album. I think he should drop an album this year, whether it be a collab album or a solo album. I just need an album from A$AP Rocky, not from A$AP Rocky, from Travis Scott. And a Jack Boys 2 album would also be dope to have this year, honestly, especially with Don Toliver getting better with every release of, or Don Toliver and Travis Scott album will also be dope. Hopefully that's the case. I know that Don Toliver kind of teased the collab album with Kanye West. If that's the case, I'm also here for that project as well. Young Thug, now that he is finally released, I think he's going to be working on a lot of music this year, and so I'm expecting him to drop an album this year for sure. I know he was supposed to drop an album before he got charged with those RICO cases, so I'm expecting him to either drop that one or a whole new project. I just know that he's going to be dropping a project, that for sure. I will bet money on Young Thug dropping an album this year. Amine, I'm excited to see what he has this year. I think last year he did drop a couple of singles, like 2 singles. I'm expecting him to drop an album this year. His last project was a collab project with Kitrenada, which was decent, nothing too crazy. And then before that, he dropped 2.5. And so I'm expecting I believe it's his 3rd studio album now. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he has for us. I know this artist might not release, but he always has to be on this list, and that is Frank Ocean. Another year goes by that Frank Ocean doesn't drop an album. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't drop an album this year, but I have just a tiny bit of hope that he will drop an album this year. Hopefully. Daniel Caesar, I don't think Daniel Caesar should go another 4 years without dropping an album. I think he has to drop an album this year. Never Enough was a amazing project, so definitely need another project from Daniel Caesar. That goes for a lot of other artists like Black. Black's another artist that I'm expecting to drop an album this year. I know he took kind of forever to drop an album since East Atlanta Love Letter. I know he dropped a couple of singles and a EP during the time that he has been gone. I think he needs to be consistent. So Black, hopefully we get a project from you. John Bellion, I know he did drop his single Kid Again. Now that he's out of his contract, he could definitely drop an album in this year. He might already been working on a project. I think it's highly likely that he's going to drop this year now that he's out of his contract. I think now more than ever, I think he needs to drop an album. This is another artist that hasn't dropped since 2019, so hopefully this is the year. Speaking of another artist that hasn't dropped since 2022, I think, Jaden. I know he did drop last year his EP, but that isn't enough. I need a full-length project. An album like CTV3 would be dope, but if it's an album like Sire or Iris, I'm all here for it as well. Jordan Ward, I want to say he's gonna drop this year, especially if he wants to stay consistent. I don't think he will go another year without dropping. He did drop his mini collab project last year in 2024, but a solo project is definitely expected from Jordan Ward. Dominic Fike, I'm expecting now from him. He did drop a 14-minute EP last year, which was good, honestly. If he doesn't drop, I'm okay with it, just because he did drop his 14-minute EP, which was very, very good, and I still come back to that project. But full-length project, I wouldn't be mad at it. Cautious Clay, I need another project. His last album, I forgot what it was called, but that one was okay. I need an album like Deadpan Love. That one was a very, very good album, and so I'm expecting a album like that this year, hopefully. I have high hopes for Cautious Clay. He is a very underrated artist, so definitely check him out. Joji, Smithereens was not enough. I need another full-length project. Something like Nectar would be dope. But yeah, Joji definitely need a project. I know he was active back in 2022, 2023, I think. But now he has gone silent. So hopefully this is the year he drops a full-length project. Smithereens was not enough. I need more. Giveon, give or take. It's been 2 years now, going to be 3 years, and so hopefully Giveon has been working on some new music, because I'm definitely expecting an album from Giveon. Phoebe Bridgers, her last out project was Punisher. I know she's been working on an EP since then, and then she has this group as well that she's been making songs with. I forgot what the group was called. Damn. But anyways, yeah, expecting a project from her hopefully this year, a solo project from her. We're getting down to the last four. Let's start off with Dijon. Dijon hasn't dropped since 2021. His album Absolutely, which was one of my favorite albums of all time. I know he just had a kid and he's probably spending time with his family and stuff, but hopefully he's been working on new music, and I would love an album this year. I know Mickey had a great year last year, and I want the same thing to happen to Dijon as well. So hopefully a new album from Dijon. Speaking of Dijon, let's talk about McGee. I wouldn't be mad if he drops an album. I'm not expecting an album, but because 2 Star in the Dream Police is an album that I'm definitely going to be coming back to and won't leave my rotation at all. So I wouldn't be mad if he drops an album. I wouldn't be mad if he doesn't drop an album. If he drops a deluxe, great. If he drops like a mini EP, that will also be great. So anything Mickey related, I am all here for. Saba, I know he's supposed to drop this month. He did announce his release date, which is supposed to come out this month. So a new project from Saba, definitely expecting that this month. So we'll see if he keeps his word. I know he said that he was going to drop this back in 2023, and then 2024, he's been dropping singles, but no word on the project. And then he also said that he was working on a collab album with No Name and Smino. I don't know if that's ever going to come out. Hopefully it does, but we'll see. Last but not least is going to be St. John. I'm going to be honest with you guys, as a huge St. John fan, his last few singles, I mean, not his last few singles, but his last single, Glitchin', hopefully he doesn't go down the path of making an album like Roses the Remix. I, as a true fan of St. John, I don't want him to make an album like that just to get that hit song. You know what I'm saying? I want an album like Collection 1, like Ghetto Ladies Love Songs, like While the World Was Burning. You know, I don't want him to make an album just to make a couple of hit songs like Roses. You know what I'm saying? Glitchin', although I did enjoy the song, is not what I want from St. John. St. John actually has some good unreleased songs that he could put onto the album and it will be great. But he has said in the past that if you already heard an unreleased song, then there's no reason for him to release it because you already heard it. So we might not ever get those unreleased songs on streaming platforms. There we have it. I probably missed a couple of artists. Pusha T is another artist that I'm excited for. I know he did announce like a collab project with No Malice. I'm not sure if that's still going to happen. We'll see, but I'm expecting the Pusha T album this year. I probably missed a couple of artists that I forgot about. If I did, I'll leave it in the comments. Those are my most anticipated artists of 2025. Definitely excited to see how this year compares to last year. I've always said this in the past. I feel like every other year is always great for music. So like 2020 was great. 2021 was okay. 2022 was great. 2023 was okay. 2024 was great. So I'm kind of expecting this year to be okay. But hopefully 2025 proves me wrong and we get another great year of music. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. Follow my Instagram. Link is down in the description. And until next time.